Have you ever tried to hold water in your hands? The tighter you clench your fist, the faster it slips through your fingers. This is our relationship with life itself. We spend our days grasping at moments, at people, at feelings, desperately trying to hold on to what is beautiful and push away what is painful. But everything slips away. The ground beneath our feet is not solid. It is a flowing river. So how, in a world defined by change, do we learn to find our footing? How do we live peacefully with impermanence? The first noble truth, the first step on this path, is not a comforting whisper. It is a stark and unyielding declaration. Life is change. In the ancient Pali language, this is called times anicca asterisk, impermanence. It is not a philosophy to be debated. It is a law as fundamental as gravity. Look around you. The mountains, which seem so eternal, are being slowly worn down by wind and rain. The stars you see in the night sky, some of them have already died, their light just now reaching you across an ocean of time. The very cells in your body are in a constant state of flux, dying and being replaced. You are not the same person you were a year ago, a day ago, even a moment ago. The mind itself is a waterfall of thoughts, feelings, and sensations, one cascading into the next without pause. We seek stability in a universe that knows only motion. We try to build a permanent home on the surface of a flowing river, and this resistance, this fight against the fundamental nature of reality, is the very source of our deepest anxieties, our most profound suffering. We fall in love, and the sheer joy of it is tinged with the subtle, chilling fear of its eventual end. We achieve a long-sought goal, and for a fleeting moment there is peace, quickly replaced by the fear of losing that new status, or the emptiness of what's next. We experience a moment of perfect happiness, a sunset, a child's laugh, and our first instinct is to grab a camera, to immortalize it, to freeze it. But the moment we try to possess it, we are no longer in it. We are outside of it, worrying about its passing. The Zen masters understood this with crystalline clarity. They saw that our suffering doesn't come from the change itself. It comes from our clinging to the idea that things, times, should times be permanent. Imagine a woman named Kisa Gotami, her heart shattered by the loss of her only child. She wandered from house to house, clutching the small, still body, begging for a medicine that could bring him back. People pitied her. They saw her madness born of grief. Finally, a wise man told her to go to the Buddha. The Buddha listened to her story with infinite compassion, and he gave her a task. "Go," he said, "and bring me a mustard seed from a house where no one has ever known death." Hope surged in her heart. She went from door to door, to the grandest mansions and the humblest huts. At every home, people were willing to give her a mustard seed. But when she asked her question, the answer was always the same. "We have seeds, but in this house, a father has died. In this house, a wife has been lost. Here, we lost a child. Just last year." The list of sorrows was endless. Slowly, painfully, the truth began to dawn on her. Her grief was not unique. Her loss was not a punishment or a cosmic mistake. It was a part of the universal fabric of life itself. Loss is woven into the very pattern of existence. This is the great, heartbreaking, and ultimately liberating law of times. Anicca asterisk. She finally understood. She returned not with a seed, but with a quiet mind. She had not found a cure for death, but she had found a release from the solitary prison of her own suffering. She saw that she was not alone in her pain, and that the river of impermanence carries everyone, without exception, along its course. This is not a message of despair. It is a call to awaken, to stop fighting the current, to see the world, not as a collection of solid, separate things, but as a dynamic, interconnected dance of becoming and dissolving. And if everything is in flux, what about the I that experiences it all? What about the self we work so hard to protect, to promote, to solidify? This leads us to an even more profound, and perhaps unsettling, insight. *anatta*, no self. This is often misunderstood as a cold, nihilistic doctrine that says, we do not exist. That is not it at all. We exist, but not in the way we think we do. We believe there is a permanent, unchanging me at the core of our being. A little pilot sitting behind our eyes, pulling the levers of our thoughts and actions. But if we look closely, with the focused attention of a meditator, where is this self to be found? Is it in your body? Your body is constantly changing, aging. It is a temporary vessel. Is it in your feelings? Feelings are like clouds. They drift in, they rain, and they dissolve. Happiness, sadness, anger. They are visitors, not the house itself. Is it in your thoughts? Thoughts are even more ephemeral. A constant stream of mental chatter, appearing and disappearing in an instant. Is it in your memories? Memories are unreliable reconstructions of the past, colored by emotion, fading and shifting with time. The Buddha used the analogy of a chariot. You can look at the wheels, the axle, the frame, the ropes. But where is the chariot? It is a name, a concept we apply to a collection of parts working together. Take away the parts, and the chariot vanishes. In the same way, you are a collection of processes, physical processes, mental processes, emotional processes, all flowing together, all interdependent, all impermanent. This is not a cause for alarm. It is the ultimate liberation. Think of the immense energy we spend defending this phantom self, this ego. We are constantly polishing it, worrying about how it's perceived, terrified of it being insulted or diminished. We build walls of identity around it. I am a successful person. I am an anxious person. I am a victim. I am a hero. These are just stories we tell ourselves, labels we attach to a flowing process to make it feel solid and safe. But they are cages. When you see through the illusion of the solid self, the walls of the cage dissolve. There is no fixed identity to defend. You are no longer a noun. You are a verb. You are not a thing. You are a process, an unfolding, a happening. This frees you to be incredibly flexible, resilient. When criticism comes, it doesn't have to strike at a fragile core of meanness. It can be observed as just more information, more sound waves, another part of the universal flow. When praise comes, it doesn't need to inflate a non-existent ego. It can be enjoyed for a moment and then released. Letting go of the permanent self is like putting down a heavy bag you didn't even realize you were carrying. It's the end of the exhausting performance of being somebody. You can finally just be present, open, and free. Free to respond to each moment with fresh eyes, rather than through the distorted lens of a rigid identity. This is not about becoming nothing. It is about realizing you are part of time's everything. The wave is not separate from the ocean. The breath is not separate from the air. And the self is not a separate entity fighting against the universe. It is the universe itself, experiencing a brief, beautiful, and utterly transient moment of awareness. Understanding this is not an intellectual exercise. It is a shift in the very ground of your being. So we have this fundamental law, impermanence, and a misunderstanding of our own nature, the illusion of a solid self. How do these two elements combine to create the texture of our daily suffering? The mechanism is a process called time's upadana *, clinging or grasping. It operates in a simple, relentless cycle. A sensation arises in the mind. If the sensation is pleasant, the mind immediately grasps it. It says, I like this. I want more of this. How can I make this last? This grasping, this clinging, instantly creates tension. The pleasure is no longer just pleasure. It is now tied to the fear of its own absence. Think of a perfect, warm afternoon in late summer. The light is golden. The air is soft. You are with people you love. The feeling is one of pure, simple joy. But then the mind kicks in. This is perfect, it says. I wish it could be like this forever. And just like that, a shadow has fallen. The fear of the moment ending, the sadness that at times will times end, begins to creep in. You start thinking about how to capture it, how to recreate it. You take a picture, but the picture is just a ghost of the feeling. You start planning the next time you can do this, but now you are no longer times here asterisk. You are in the future. The desperate attempt to hold on to the pleasant experience has destroyed the very presence required to enjoy it. The joy becomes a source of anxiety. Now, consider the opposite. A sensation arises that is unpleasant. Pain, fear, sadness, boredom. The mind's reaction is immediate aversion. The flip side of grasping. It says, I don't like this. Get it away from me. How can I make this stop? This pushing away, this resistance, only amplifies the suffering. It is like struggling in quicksand. The more you fight, the faster you sink. The original pain is just pain. But then we add a second layer, a mental layer of I shouldn't be feeling this. This is wrong. This will never end. This second layer, this story we tell ourselves about the pain, is often far worse than the original sensation itself. A Zen story tells of two monks walking in the rain. They come to a large puddle where a beautiful woman in a silk kimono is waiting, unable to cross. Without a word, the older monk picks her up, carries her across the puddle, and sets her down. She thanks him, and the monks continue on their way. Hours later, as they approach their monastery, the younger monk bursts out. How could you do that? We are not supposed to touch women. It is against all the rules. The older monk looks at him calmly and says, I left the woman by the puddle hours ago. Are you still carrying her? The physical event was brief, neutral, but the younger monk's mind grasped onto it, judged it, resisted it, and created hours of internal turmoil. He was clinging to a memory, fighting a ghost. This is what we do all day long. We cling to praise and push away criticism. We grasp for pleasure and resist pain. We are constantly trying to freeze the river, to hold on to the good water and dam up the bad. It is an exhausting and ultimately impossible task. The practice, then, is not to get rid of pleasure and pain. That's impossible. They are part of the flow. The practice is to learn to let them flow times through times us, without grasping and without pushing away. It is to observe the mind's habit of clinging and resisting with a calm, non-judgmental awareness, to feel joy fully, knowing it will pass, and to feel sadness fully, knowing it too will pass. It's about changing our relationship with our own experience, from one of a desperate controller to one of a wise and compassionate witness. This constant grasping and aversion, fueled by our belief in a permanent self, is the architect of our mental prisons. We don't just cling to moments. We cling to entire narratives about the past and future. The past becomes a museum of our glories and our wounds. We wander its halls endlessly. We replay our greatest successes, trying to recapture the feeling of victory, a feeling that is long gone. This creates a sense of lack in the present, a feeling that the best is behind me. Or, more often, we obsess over our past mistakes, our regrets, our hurts. We pick at old wounds until they can never heal. We are haunted by the ghosts of what we should have said or done. But the past does not exist. It is a collection of electrical impulses and chemical traces in the brain, reassembled into a story. And a story is not the event itself. By clinging to this story, we are allowing something that is no longer real to dictate our experience of the only thing that times is times real, this present moment. We are shackled to a phantom. Then, there is the future, a vast landscape of our hopes and, more powerfully, our fears. We spend countless hours planning, worrying, and fantasizing about a time that has not yet arrived, and may never arrive in the way we imagine. We build elaborate blueprints for happiness. I will be happy when I get the promotion, when I find a partner, when I buy the house, when I retire. We postpone our peace, making it conditional on a future outcome. But the future is a mirage. It is a projection of the present mind. And because the mind is conditioned to grasp and fear, the future we project is almost always a source of anxiety. What if I fail? What if I get sick? What if I lose what I have? This constant mental time travel, this obsession with the ghosts of yesterday and the phantoms of tomorrow, leaves the present moment desolate and empty. We are never fully here. We are like a person sitting down to a magnificent feast. But instead of eating, they are either lamenting the meals of the past or worrying about whether they will be hungry tomorrow. The food on the plate grows cold. The practice of Zen, particularly Zazen, or sitting meditation, is the radical act of refusing to leave the table. It is the training of learning to be right here, right now. You sit, and you simply observe. You watch the thoughts of the past arise, and you let them go. You watch the anxieties about the future bubble up, and you let them go. You don't fight them. You don't judge them. You simply notice them, the way you would notice clouds passing in the sky. And you gently return your attention to the anchor of your breath. This breath, this one, in and out. Each time you do this, you are loosening a brick in the wall of your prison. You are weakening the habit of clinging. You are teaching your nervous system, on the most profound level, that it is safe to be in the present moment, without the need for the armor of the past or the escape route of the future. You are learning to build a raft, right here in the middle of the river, instead of trying to fortify a house on its crumbling bank. But a misunderstanding can easily take root here, a dangerous one. Does accepting impermanence mean we should become passive, detached, indifferent to the world? Does it mean we shouldn't love deeply, for fear of the pain of loss? Should we not build, or strive, or create, because everything will eventually turn to dust? This is a spiritual cul-de-sac, a cold and lifeless interpretation of a profound truth. It is the difference between resignation and acceptance. Resignation is giving up. It is a shrug of the shoulders in the face of suffering, a turning away. Acceptance is turning times towards asterisk. It is looking at reality squarely, without blinking, and engaging with it fully, wisely. A skilled sailor does not curse the wind. They don't try to stop the wind. They study its nature. They feel its shifts, and they adjust their sails to harness its power. The wind of impermanence is always blowing. To live peacefully with it is not to stay in port. It is to become a master sailor on the open ocean of existence. This means you love, and you love with your entire being. You love knowing that one day, separation will come. And this knowledge does not diminish the love. It makes it infinitely more precious. Every moment becomes a gift, not a guarantee. You build, you create, you work to make the world a better place. You do it not because you believe your creations will be eternal, but because the act of creating, of contributing, is a meaningful dance with the present moment. You pour your heart into your work, but you hold the outcome lightly. You are dedicated to the effort, not attached to the result. This is an immense source of freedom. When you are not clinging to a specific outcome, you become incredibly adaptable. Failure is no longer a devastating blow to your ego. It is simply feedback, an unexpected turn in the river's course. You learn, you adjust your sails, and you continue the journey. This is the heart of what some call non-attachment. It is not non-caring. It is not being a cold, unfeeling stone. It is the opposite. It is caring so much about the quality of your presence, your engagement with life, that you refuse to let it be poisoned by the grasping for permanence. It is the wisdom to know what you can control and what you cannot. You cannot control the river, but you can learn to build a very good raft. You can learn to navigate its currents. You can learn to appreciate the ever-changing scenery on its banks, the sunlight and the storms, the calm stretches and the rapids. It is about participating in the beautiful, heartbreaking, magnificent dance of life, with open hands and an open heart, not trying to lead, not trying to stop the music, but learning to move with its rhythm, gracefully, and with courage. This is not a philosophy of passivity. It is the foundation for the most skillful, engaged, and joyful action possible. And this leads to the most critical reflection of all. If there is no separate self, and if everything is impermanent, then what is the point of compassion? Why should we care for others? Isn't it just one transient process interacting with another transient process? This question probes the very heart of the path, and the answer reveals a beauty that can change everything. The realization of time's anatta asterisk. No self is not the death of connection, it is its birth. As long as we believe in a solid, separate me, there will always be a fundamental barrier between me and you. My happiness is my project. Your suffering is your problem. We can feel sympathy, we can feel pity, but there is always a wall. The me is in here, safe. The you is out there. But when that wall of the separate self is seen to be an illusion, a mental construct, something extraordinary happens. The distinction between self and other dissolves, not in some abstract, intellectual way, but in a deeply felt, visceral way. Your pain is no longer your pain, it is simply pain, arising in this shared field of existence, and the natural, spontaneous response of an awakened heart to the presence of pain is compassion. Asterisk, karuna asterisk. It is not a choice. It is not a moral duty. It is a reflex. Like pulling your hand away from a flame, the suffering of another being is felt as your own, because on the deepest level, it is. The Bodhisattva, the archetypal figure of compassionate action in Mahayana Buddhism, is one who sees this truth perfectly. They stand at the gateway to nirvana, to final peace, but they turn back. They make a vow to return to the world of suffering, again and again, until every last being is liberated. This is not a sacrifice made out of a sense of grim duty. It is the only logical action for one who understands interconnectedness. How can I enter final peace when a part of me is still suffering? The wave cannot find peace separate from the ocean. This transforms the path from a solitary quest for personal enlightenment into a collective journey. Our purpose is no longer just to ease our own suffering, but to ease the suffering of the world we are inextricably a part of. This brings a profound sense of meaning to a life lived in an impermanent world. Our actions matter, not because they will last forever, but because they ripple outwards, affecting the whole. A kind word is not just a kind word. It is a contribution to the field of kindness in the world. A compassionate act is not just a single event. It is a reinforcement of the web of connection that holds us all. When you listen to a friend in pain, you are not just you listening to them. You are the universe becoming aware of its own sorrow and tending to it. When you act to protect the environment, you are not just a person saving a planet. You are the earth itself, waking up and healing itself. The answer to the question, why bother, is this: we bother because we are not separate. We bother because love and compassion are not sentimental choices. They are the natural expression of a mind that has seen the truth of our shared reality. They are the ultimate flowering of wisdom. So how do we weave these profound truths into the fabric of our chaotic, modern lives? How do we move from understanding to embodiment? The path is one of cultivation, of practice. It is the gentle, persistent training of the heart and mind to align with reality. This is the art of building your raft, plank by plank, while navigating the river. The first plank is the practice of grounding in the present moment through the body. This is mindfulness, or time sati asterisk. Your body is always, unfailingly, in the present. Your mind can wander to 1,000 yesterdays or 1,000,000 tomorrows, but your breath is happening only now. The feeling of your feet on the floor is now. The warmth of the cup in your hands is now. Throughout your day, you can practice returning to these simple, direct sensations. When you feel anxiety rising, a storm of what-ifs gathering in your mind. Bring your attention to your breath. Don't try to stop the thoughts. Just shift your focus. Feel the air entering your nostrils. Cool. Feel it filling your lungs. Feel your belly rise and fall. This is your anchor in the storm of impermanence. Each time you do this, you are stepping out of the frantic story in your head and into the reality of the present. It is a simple, but incredibly powerful act of sanity. The second plank is learning to watch the mind itself, not as a master to be obeyed, but as a process to be observed, in meditation, and then in daily life. You learn to sit on the bank of the river of your mind and watch the thoughts float by. Like leaves on the water, a thought of anger arises. You don't have to jump in the river and become the anger. You can simply note it. Ah, anger is here. You observe its texture, its energy, and you watch it float on by. A thought of judgment, of fear, of craving. You greet them all with the same calm, non-judgmental awareness. I see you. This practice creates a space between you, the observer, and the endless chatter of the mind. In this space is freedom. You realize you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which the thoughts are happening. You are the sky, not the passing clouds. The third plank is the active cultivation of an open heart. This is the practice of time's meta asterisk, or loving kindness. You begin by offering kindness to yourself, which for many is the hardest step. You hold yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. Then, you extend this wish outwards, to your loved ones, to neutral people, and eventually, to those you find difficult. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. This is not about forcing an emotion. It is about setting an intention. It is a gentle watering of the seeds of compassion that already exist within you. This practice counteracts the mind's tendency toward fear, judgment, and separation. It softens the armor around the heart. These three planks, grounding in the body, watching the mind, and opening the heart, are not separate. They support and deepen one another. Together, they form a raft of wisdom and compassion that is buoyant enough to carry you through any waters. This is not a quest for a final destination of peace. It is the practice of finding peace in the very midst of the journey itself. And in living this way, something beautiful begins to shift in your perception. You no longer see impermanence as an enemy, a threat to your happiness. You begin to see it as the very source of life's poignant beauty. There is a Japanese term, asterisk mono, no aware asterisk. It refers to a gentle, bittersweet awareness of the transient nature of things. It is the feeling you get when you see the cherry blossoms in full bloom, knowing that in a week they will be gone. Their beauty is inseparable from their fleetingness. If they lasted forever, would we still pause in wonder? Would their delicate, transient perfection still have the power to stop our hearts? Impermanence is what makes life precious. It is what gives each moment its unique, unrepeatable value. The knowledge that this conversation will end is what invites you to listen more deeply. The knowledge that this day will pass is what invites you to live it more fully. The knowledge that this life is a brief, flickering flame in the vastness of time is what imbues it with profound meaning. You learn to savor things, not to hoard them. You can appreciate the warmth of a relationship without the desperate need for it to be your permanent source of security. You can enjoy success without being terrified of future failure. You can feel sorrow completely, knowing that it is a passing weather system, not the permanent climate of your being. This is the ultimate synthesis. It is the integration of wisdom and compassion into a seamless way of being. You stop fighting the river. You stop trying to dam it, or divert it, or freeze it. You realize that you times are times the river. The peace you were seeking out there, in some future permanent state, was here all along. It is in the very flow itself. It is in the acceptance of the whole, messy, beautiful, heartbreaking, and glorious dance. It is not about achieving a state of perpetual calm. The surface of the ocean will always have waves. There will be storms. There will be turbulence. But you discover a stillness that is deeper than the waves. It is the vast, silent, unshakable depth of the ocean itself. That is your true nature. That is the peace that surpasses all understanding. A peace that is not dependent on circumstances. A peace that can hold both joy and sorrow, gain and loss, life and death. In its vast, compassionate embrace, it is the freedom of the open hand, finally letting the water and life itself flow through. So return to your hands now. Feel the life flowing through them. Stop clenching. Stop grasping. Unfurl your fingers and open your palm to the sky. What if peace is not found in holding on, but in the brave and beautiful act of letting go? What if you were to simply let life, in all its magnificent impermanence, flow through you? What would that feel like? Right now,